What's going on YouTube? 10 Brews back here with another tutorial. Hope everyone had a happy new year. Today I'm going to show you my favorite plugins for producers to use. Now this is just my opinion. There's a ton of plugins out there. These are just the ones that I most use, and in my opinion they can really make a difference, make your productions better, and they can also be used for any genre. I make house music and trap beats, but you can really use them for any genre, in my opinion. I have an empty project here, and what I'm going to do for the sake of this video is just throw in some loops so I can kind of quickly show you how the plugins work. So let me open up Splice. Shout out Splice. I do use Splice for samples. And I'm just gonna throw in a bunch of random loops here. Bear with me a sec. Let's get some guitar in there. I like that one. Throw that in there. Don't import. Let me throw in a piano here. Gonna throw in a vocal here. A lot of these can do a lot of cool stuff with vocals.
Skirt. Crush them.
Skirt.
Too much time to waste for this life up.
Just throw that one in here. And I'll throw in a drum loop here. Alright, these are all fills. Just throw that kick loop in here. Then I just want like a hat loop. I don't want percussion. Alright, there we go. Download that. Alright, so we got our loops in here, and let's get started. So the first one I'm going to pull up here is FabFilter Saturn. So this is a saturation plugin. So you can, it basically makes sounds like bigger and fatter. And what you can do it by frequency range. So let me just start out with this guitar loop. And what I mean by frequency range, so like I could just raise the high frequencies of this sample, or I could raise the mids or the lows. So I'm just going to raise the highs so you can see how it works. See how you can hear the high end of the loop like way cleaner and just bigger. This is without. And that's with. So this, in my opinion, is a game changer. Really can make things stand out. And this one I use a lot for vocals as well. So let me show you it on a vocal. Just drag it over. So this is without Saturn. Oops, that is the wrong loop here. Let me solo it. This is
Too
without.
much time to waste for this life I
Turn it up
make.
here.
Too much time to waste for this life I make.
And then this is with.
Too much time to waste for this life I make.
As you can hear, like, it might be up a little too much right now, but, you know, depending on your mix, you can just play around with it.
Too much time to waste for this life I make.
See, and I'll mostly, like, use it for high-end saturation, but you could raise the mids.
Too much time to waste for this life I make.
And let me just say, like, these plugins I think are fairly easy to use. Like, I'm not an expert at them. I'm not, you know, an expert at mixing or mastering by any means. So this is just how I use them. Just to keep that in mind. So this one, I mostly use it on vocals to give them more high-end, more brightness in the mix. And then also recently, sometimes I've been using this on kicks actually. And I'll show you that with this kick loop. Let me drag it over here. Oops. This is without Saturn. And then I made like a kick preset. So as you can see, left the mids at 0, raise the high end a bit so you can hear the click of the kick, like the top end, the top kick. And then I also raised like the sub frequencies up to like 77 hertz. It just makes the kick, the sub of the kick louder. So this is without, this is with. As you can see, like, you know, you can just play around with the settings till you get the sound you want. This, and with this kick in particular, it kind of makes it sound like a big room kick with this on. But very dynamic plugin. I love it a lot. Let me just show you one more way I use it. There's also like a bunch of built-in presets. All types of presets, like for just saturation, mastering, and then there's like effects plugin or presets, which I think are pretty cool. So let me just go back to, or let me just go. So you go here, and there's all these presets here, and sometimes I've played around with the effects. There's some cool effects plugins. I'll just show you a few of them. Oops, I hit the wrong button. Let me go here. See, that's really cool, I think. There's a lot of like glitchy effects you can use. See, that's pretty dope if you're just looking for some effects. So anyway, that's the first one. It's called FabFilter Saturn. And I found this through a lot of like EDM tutorials. So for those of you who don't know, I make EDM and rap beats, but I used to just only make EDM. I didn't really release much, but that's just what I tried making, what I was learning for years. And I know for a fact that, I don't know if this is where I first found it, but it might have been, the Chainsmokers have a tutorial on how they made Roses, one of their top songs, and they were using this plugin. I think they used it on guitar, but I've seen it in a bunch of other tutorials as well from like pro producers. Shout out the Chainsmokers. And yeah, that's FabFilter Saturn. So let's move along here. That would be one of them. Next one I'm going to show you is the reverb that I use. It's called Valhalla Room. Also seen this in a lot of tutorials. I got this probably like a year ago, or like close to a year. Now, as far as like reverb and EQ, you can honestly use the built-in reverb and EQ from your DAW. You don't have to use a third party, but I saw this in a lot of tutorials, so I tried it out and I like it more than the Logic reverb. I just think it has a better sound. I just play around with these settings until I get the sound I want, but it's a really, really good reverb plugin in my opinion. It's called Valhalla Room. Valhalla is the company name, I believe. And I have some presets that I made. So I'm just going to show you. This is dramatic. This is like a lot of reverb. So this would be without. That'd be with. So as you can see, it just makes it like really wide, really big. And I want to show you this on a vocal as well. It's great for vocals. I made a vocal preset on it. So this would be without.
Too much time to waste for this life I made.
This would be with.
Too much.
Oh, oops.
Too much time to waste
And that's
for
with.
this life I made.
Too much time to waste for.
So as you can see, it's really good for vocals. It makes them really wide and big and just fill up the mix. And I just play around with these settings until you get the sound that you want. So that's my go-to reverb. Let's see what we got next here. All right, so this one's really cool. It's called Effectrix by Sugar Bytes is the company. And this is just amazing for effects, like adding effects to your beats or songs. I've actually had this for a while, and I didn't use it for the longest time because I think I didn't really understand it at the time. But recently I've been using it, and it's a good way to make your tracks interesting, in my opinion, because there's all these different effects. So like X loop, I'm just gonna run through them here real quick. What you want to do is click that to trigger my MIDI, go 1/16. And these are the bars. So since I put it on these 4 bars, that means for 4 bars it will have this effect on. And you can use automation to like turn it on and off and everything. And so the first one is X loop. And I'm just gonna put it back on the guitar here. Actually, I'll put on the piano. Let's see, it's piano. Piano is 142. Just gonna raise the tempo for the sake. Not letting me drag it for some reason, but that's alright. Oops, and looks like Logic just quit on me. Bear with me a sec here, guys. Gotta love when that happens. This is a project I'm working on right now. So let me just open up a new one again. Throw a loop in here. Alright, there we go. Just save this in case it quits again. Alright, so we're going to go back to Effectrix. Alright, so the mix is at 0, that's why you're not hearing it. First effect is called X loop. It just like loops things and you can change the pitch as well. So you could hear it slightly there. Let me do it longer. You can play with the pitch. See, you can do a lot of stuff there with that pitch. And then you can change the size of the loop. See, that's a slower loop. Anyway, so that's X loop. The next one is just a basic loop, so it doesn't really do anything to the pitch. It will just loop it. So you got that. I'm going to run through these quickly. Scratch loop. This kind of adds some like DJ scratching effects. And it comes with presets as well, like built-in presets. If you don't know how to use these or you just don't want to, the presets are really helpful. I got a new computer and I got this like transferred over. For some reason it doesn't have the presets anymore, but it does come with a bunch of good presets. Next is reverse. This is pretty sick. You can just reverse things easily. Yeah, that's cool. And then there's this called stretch. It will just stretch the sample or whatever you have it on. Change the time. Vinyl. This is good for like giving you like a slowdown vinyl effect. So we'll just like stop the sample. Let me just put it shorter. Oh, you can turn the stop mode on. That's mainly how I use it. Oops. Like that. I'll use that a lot on sounds, on like bass and leads. So that's sick. Tonal delay. Haven't really used this one that much, to be honest. I'll just show you it here quick. You can tune it, whatever key the sample is in. Stutter, give you like a stutter effect. So that's cool. You just play around with these settings to get it sounding how you want. Here is a crush effect. So you can add distortion here. And a bit crusher as well. That's pretty cool. Just a filter that has different things you can play around with. Anyway, yeah, filter, phaser. Chorus, if you want to add some chorus, some brightness to a sound. That sounds cool, I think. Delay here. And then a built built-in reverb as well. So a lot of these I'm just putting it at 100%. Obviously it's sounding really dramatic, but I'm just doing that to show you how it works. So I personally mostly use the loop, reverse, and vinyl. But sometimes I'll use the X loop, and once in a while I'll use one of the other ones as well. But this is a great plugin to add effects, in my opinion, because you can make your effects so unique because there's so many things you can tweak. You can pick what part of the loop you want to put it on, and yeah, recently it's been a game changer for me. So shout out Effectrix by Sugar Bytes. All right, so let's keep on moving here. Next one I'm gonna show you. This one's just fun. I honestly haven't used it in a while. I used to though. Big EDM plugin. It's called Sausage Fattener by Dada Life. Dada Life, they're like legends in dance music. They created this plugin, and it basically does what it says. Like, it fattens the sound, makes it bigger, and it's pretty simple. As you can see, there's only two knobs, fatness and color. So I'm going to show you the sample without. And then with, I'm going to just turn the fatness up. The color kind of makes it like wider, in my opinion. As you can hear, it's way bigger and fatter sounding. And that again is pretty dramatic. When I use this, usually we'll just add a few percent. But yeah, and this guy, you know, he gets angry the more you add. I don't know what his issue is. But anyway, that's a good one. It's great for leads and just like the main instrument in your beat or song. So that one's fun. It's Sausage Fattener by Dada Life. And then next, I'm going to show you the S1 Imager from Waves. Waves, some of you probably know, they have a lot of good plugins. The company is called Waves. This is one of my most used. It really helps me widen and center things in the mix because you want some sounds to be wide and some in the center. Just generally, after watching tutorials, a general rule of thumb, obviously there's no rules in music, but you want your bass and low frequencies to be mono. So if this were on a bass or a kick, I'd bring this down to 0. So that means it's in the center completely, or mono. And then on leads or other sounds, you can just widen it so it will sound wider. Let me show you, and I have a preset for wide. So this is without. This is with. And this is making it mono. Completely in the center. As you can see, as you bring this up, just makes it sound really wide and fill up the mix. So, yeah, nothing sexy with this one. It's pretty simple and plain looking, but as far as like usefulness, one of my most used for sure. So that's the S1 Imager from Waves. Next, I'm going to show you the FabFilter Pro Q3. So this is an EQ plugin. Got this like probably 6 months ago, maybe 8 months. Now, when it comes to EQ and like reverb, your general plugins, as I said, like it's not necessary. You don't need to get these third-party plugins. The Logic ones work. I used to use them before I got this. The Logic EQ did the job, But this is just a little fancier, just something I wanted to try out, and I do like it a lot. And I'm going to show you some of the cool things you can do with it. So let me just add a low cut here. So just like any other EQ, right? I mean, it sounds good, but just like any other EQ. But what you can do a lot of like detailed EQing. So you can like narrow this band here. And one thing really cool, you can solo certain frequencies. So let me play this loop. And see, I can move this around and it's soloing this band. So what you can do for detailed EQing, you can really find harsh frequencies or frequencies that just don't sound good. And then you can use this to take them out. And just, it makes the loop or the sound cleaner overall. And let me do that real quick here. So that's kind of a harsh frequency right here at 247.9 hertz. So what I'm going to do is just bring it down here. So this is without me doing that. This is with. So, you know, it might be hard to tell from this video, but little details like that, they can really add up, especially if you are working with a sample that's not very clean, has a lot of harsh sounding frequencies. This EQ is great for taking those out. And then another thing that I learned that makes this EQ unique, what you can do this band, you press this arrow here and you press make dynamic. And I'm not going to lie, I'm not completely sure how this works, but from my understanding, when you make it dynamic, it will only take out these frequencies when they're hitting. So as opposed to if it's not dynamic, the whole time the loop's playing, it will take out these frequencies. But if you make it dynamic, it will only cut them when they're harsh, if that makes sense. And you can see, so I made this dynamic. You can see this bar is moving here. But anyway, yeah, so, you know, and it has a bunch of built-in presets you can use, which can be helpful. But, you know, mostly it can do anything that your basic EQ can do as well. So this is the FabFilter Pro Q3, if you missed the name there. So yeah, FabFilter, they have a lot of good plugins, Waves as well. Let me see what else I have to show y'all here. Okay, another one I have to show is a quick one. I just want to throw in a kick again here. Go back to my drum loops. And I want to throw in just one other loop here. Looking for something that's the same tempo as the kick, 128. Just to make it as simple as can be. Let me get out of synth. Let me go to guitar. Let me get out of here. Bass, what do I have here? Do I have any bass loops? I do. Perfect. Throw that in here. Bring this down to 128. So next one I'm going to show you guys is Kickstart by Nicky Romero. So for anyone who makes dance music, you know the importance of side chaining. If you don't know what side chaining is, basically it usually in dance music you'll side chain everything in the drop to the kick. And what that means is you're ducking all the other sounds when the kick hits. So you can hear the kick better because the kick is key in dance music. And this is a very simple, easy to use sidechain plugin. I know there's others out there, but this is just the best in my opinion. I mean, I haven't used them all, but you literally just throw it on there and there's different presets and you just quickly throw it on there. It helps with workflow because you just throw it on there, keep going, keep building your track. And there's this knob here to adjust how much side chaining you want. So with a bass, I'll usually sidechain the bass 100% the kick because the kick has low frequencies, so you don't want those colliding. So this is without. And I think that's in time, yeah. But as you can see, you can't even really hear the kick there. It just, everything's clashing. This is with the sidechain. I think this might be out of time. But anyway, you could hear the kick more with that on. And there's different, presets here. Free punch, I use that one a lot. There's a classic chain. There's a sub bass chain, which gives it like a shorter, it sidechains it for longer, I should say. So you kind of hear the bass less with that. You can make it tighter. That's a really tight sidechain. You can do a reverse, there's a few weird ones here that just make it sound weird, but that's cool, I guess. And it can be cool for some songs. That's a reverse sidechain. This one's just weird rhythm. Oh, and then it's on 1/4 because most dance music is 4 on the floor, so the kick hits every fourth beat. Every fourth note, I should say. But you can change that here. So you can change it to the 8th note. And, changing this right here, I know for like future bass, a lot of that would be like 1/8. Or just plays with that timing. But yeah, that's something you can play around with as well. And I use this sometimes for rap beats as well. So that can make your beat more interesting. It's a way to change it up. So if you have like your main, if you just have a main melody or loop playing throughout the beat and you want to change it up, throw some side chaining on it and it will make it sound, it will give it a different rhythm is the best way to put it, I would say. So that one's Kickstart by Nicky Romero. And I forget which company sells it, but I'm sure you could find it on Nicky Romero's website. Shout out Nicky Romero, one of my favorite producers for sure. So yeah, and let's see what else I have here. Alright, I'll show you this real quick. This is OTT, very popular plugin. It's free. It's from Xfer Records. same company that makes Serum, the synth. This is a multiband compression plugin. I think it's kind of similar to Saturn, FabFilter Saturn, because you can like bring more highs, mids, or lows. It's broken up like that, but it compresses your sound. So I'm gonna show you it on the piano here. Let me bring the tempo back up. This is without. This is with. Change the depth here. So it really can just make things bigger and louder without raising the volume. So for being free, it's really good, and cannot tell you how many tutorials I've watched with producers using this. So yeah, shout out OTT. And then bonus, last one here, I'm going to show you as a bonus. Honestly, this could be my favorite and most used plugin. The reason I'm putting it last though is because ever since I got my new computer and everything was transferred, for some reason it doesn't show the interface of the plugin. It just shows this black screen, which is kind of annoying, but it does still work for me. It's called Camel Crusher. And the company was Camel Audio. I'm almost positive Apple ended up acquiring that company. So I'm not sure if this is still available, but if you can find it, I highly, highly recommend it. What it does, it's a distortion plugin, so it makes any sound bigger and fatter and louder without actually raising the volume. So I use this on everything. I use it on synths, leads, basses, sometimes vocals, sometimes drums. You can use it on anything. This is another one I found watching a lot of EDM tutorials back in the day, and they would pretty much all of them would use this preset, this British clean preset. And that's honestly mostly how I use it, because this preset, it does what it says. It leaves it clean, but it makes it louder and fatter without adding too much distortion, so it keeps the sound clean. This is without. That's with. That was with. As you can see, it just makes it huge, but it also leaves it pretty clean. But you do still want to at least all EQ the lows again after, because it will add some lows. But there's other presets too that I sometimes use, like the Annihilate, if you want a more dramatic effect. As you can hear, that adds a lot more distortion. There's some other just cool ones here. Dream. More beef. Fuzz filter. So yeah, this one is Camel Crusher by Camel Audio. Highly recommend it if you can find it. And yeah, guys, so those are my favorite plugins. Comment down below your favorite plugins to use for producers. I'm always trying to find new ones, and I would love to use some new ones, because I pretty much use the same ones. Like, that's mostly it, guys and girls. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, let me know. Let me know what you thought down in the comments. If you're feeling generous, hit the subscribe button, like the video, and comment down below your favorite plugins. I would love to hear what you guys think and get a conversation going. So yeah, I'm gonna end the video here. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Peace.